Cool. blogger. Try to pray for peace, but every day it's getting harder. Can't even scroll my phone without somebody getting slaughtered. And even with our cameras up, no charges getting brought up. They body slam our daughters and they execute our fathers. Make us pray for peace because of what the pastor taught us. Never trust their police because of what the pastors taught us. They lawless and they heartless, they evil and they godless. This is holy war regardless, and it's evident I'm militant. That don't mean I'm violent. Contrary to your rights, it ain't right to remain silent. Not when all our kids are dying. Somebody gotta fight to protect what's right. So when faced with violence, fight is what you do to protect your life. And I can't keep quiet. We can't keep on marching to rallies. I have another riot. Tried to boycott, but motherfuckers are still buying, and bullets are still flying, and niggas are still dying, and people is still military mind state. Organize the village. Respect, protect our women. Form a circle around our children's. Elders at the center. We rely upon their wisdoms, guidance and their counsel. Show them honor while they living. Brother can't do much from in the grave or in prison. A nigga think he free and really slave to them systems. Victor or villain, I refuse to play the victim. See, my sister ain't no bitch, my brothers ain't no nigga. First we edify the language, then unify the gangs. Set aside our differences, we banging for the same things. It's ghetto scriptures, encoded it in slang. Then I put it in the music, so I put it on your brain. Yeah, I teach them how to use it. Yeah, I show them where to end. Yeah, I pull them to the side. Yeah, I put them up on game. We give them food for thought and let it stimulate the brain. We can build a nation up or tear a devil out the frame. Bang! Can't you see that we under attack? They shooting us in our backs. No knife at a gunfight in San Francisco just taught us that. We can't run forever cause Walter Scott had just taught us that. Hands up, I can't breathe. Look how they choke that man. A black life is worth more than a hashtag and more than a picket sign. We living in wicked time. We can't call the cops on the cops when the cops committing crime. No indictment for their killers, tell them not one dime. Riots and rallies ain't shit. The iceberg is always bigger than the tip trip. Found guilty by a jury of 6, bitches. A dead man take the stand as his own witness. This is the America I live in. The criminals roam free and the victims go to prison. But we was born in prison, been living in poor conditions. So death is the sentence and your skin is your conviction. I realize this is the trial, we ain't winning. I realize we alive, we ain't living. We spend a lifetime trying to fix a broken system, on our knees bleeding, begging, praying, hoping, and wishing. Please, I ain't signing no petitions. I take a new position, trying to break a broken system. Until it's broken, won't work for nobody. If it don't work for everybody, can't work for anybody. So say the Panther Party. Fred Hampton, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and yours truly. Screaming 50 slugs for moody people. Love is our duty. We got to have unity. Fortify our families and build stronger communities. Educate our children, afford them with opportunity. Show them how to love black before they reach puberty, cause knowledge itself gives them immunities.
My name is Kat Brooks. I'm the co-founder of the Anti-Police Terror Project and a member of the Black Power Network. And I'm actually based in Oakland, but here supporting San Francisco. After Mario was murdered, executed in broad daylight in your city, I asked myself, how long is it going to take for the chief to come out and tell the community that we didn't see what we thought we saw on that video? How long was it going to take for the police to come out and tell us that we didn't understand the circumstances surrounding that murder? Because that's the tape. That's what happens every time. We see what happens and then you trot yourself out and tell us that we are not intelligent enough to understand that we saw a black man gunned down execution style in broad daylight in the streets of San Francisco. And somehow you think that talking to us like we are children who have not been examining, watching, studying you and your system for hundreds of years as we figure out how to tear it down, push back, and eventually win. As you continue to talk to us like children, what you are doing is inciting the rage of the people. And I want to be clear with you all that a new day has come. To San Francisco, to Oakland, to Baltimore, to Ferguson, to Atlanta, there is a movement sweeping this country. And we are not going to stop until you stop killing us. Until you stop killing us, we will continue to shut it down, interrupt your business as usual. We're going to take to the streets. We're going to interrupt your election cycles. And I have news for you, Chief, sir. We are going to shut it down until you resign or until all of you get the courage to fire him. And Oakland will be here every time. We bring in the East back.
We are bringing the heat back. As y'all see me, I'm moving. I got my little workout bike moving and grooving. Because this is a movement, and welcome to our Bring the Heat movement. and to our heated concrete conversations. I'm Sloan, and today our conversation is going to be talking about equipment, the equipment that's used against our community and what it does to our psyche. There's many systems at play, and we're here to unmask these systems. So I welcome y'all to the Heated Concrete Conversations. Like always, we'll be using music, videos, special guests to help us break down the blah, blah, blah. That first video we played was from Brother Correga Bailey, who joined us last week, and King Keon. Our next video that we will play from you comes from Cash Doll. You know Sister Cash Doll, and if you don't know Sister Cash Doll, it's time for you to turn up your volume, because this sister got bars, like for real bars. And if this is the first time you guys are turning in with us, you might not know that we are building a playlist. We are building a playlist of movement music. So if you have music that you think we need to add to this playlist, please drop a comment in our chat right now on Facebook so that we can add you to the music, or tag us in the video, because we want to make sure that we're building this movement music. So much of our music isn't being televised, isn't being shown. So we want to use this platform that we've created as a place for us to showcase music. So talk to us, family. We'll talk back. And without holding you any longer, here's the Cash Doll video. Like I said, we want to use this platform that we have right now to showcase music. Cash Doll's video was out. It was an official video, and it was shot in prison. But somehow that video got pulled down. So all we have is this lyric video. I want you to dive into these lyrics that Cash Doll's giving us right now, because like I said, sis has some bars, and she really dropped some good ones on this one. All right, welcome to Bring the Heat, Heated Concrete Conversations.
It's a cold world, but it's warming up. We ain't got no choice but to run it up. It ain't just one, it's 100 to us. Might not mean much to you, but mean something to us. It's a cold world, but it's warming up. We ain't got no choice but to run it up. It ain't just one, it's 100 to us. Might not mean much to you, but mean something to us.
Yeah. Wanted, black man hunted, shot down, gunned up, handcuffed, punished. Fighting for the basics, to them we just a number. Willie list you niggas, you still wanna kill your brother, made you pledge allegiance, lied and told you we was equal. Read between the lines, being black is still illegal. Killed off all our leaders, no more power to the people. Here we go again, this shit looking like a sequel, and they know it's shady, treat they pets more humanely. I know y'all ain't crazy, Mr. Foreign Project babies. If we don't come together, then it's never gonna change. Cause niggas kill my daddy before I can say his name. It's a cold world,
but it's warming up. We ain't got no choice but to run it up. It ain't just one, it's 100 to us. Might not mean much to you, but mean something to us. It's a cold world, but it's warming up. We ain't got no choice but to run it up. It ain't just one, it's 100 to us. Might not mean much to you, but mean something to us.
They keep killing us, no charges. Hope you niggas watching what, we just gon' keep on marching? We gon' keep on banging, twisting up them fingers, till we make some changes. Niggas can't do no complaining. Wait, hold up, let me finish. Y'all know that I get it. Yeah, it's plenty hood niggas out here doing good business, but you know they don't see that. If you black, you sell drugs, and police cannot protect what they afraid of. Jealousy breeds enemies, these niggas be envious. Made it out gay back, you took that, can't be serious. Politician, private prisons got us filling up the jails. We can't keep on begging for a time to help ourselves. It's a cold world,
but it's warming up. We ain't got no choice but to run it up. It ain't just one, it's 100 to us. Might not mean much to you, but mean something to us. It's a cold world, but it's warming up. We ain't got no choice but to run it up. It ain't just one, it's 100 to us. Might not mean much to you, but mean something to us.
100 of us. 100 of us. And I want to introduce you to one of us that have been bringing you these conversations right now. Brother Jabari, go ahead and join us on the video. Can you give us the introduction of who you are right now, my brother?
Yes, thank you very much, Sloan. I am Jabari Holder. A lot of y'all know me as JB. Just an ordinary Joe from around the way, man, from East Oakland, California. Right now, I'm excited to be here for week 3. I want to talk to y'all a little bit about these heat demands. Can we pop up the demands real quick so everybody can get a visual of it? The demands are pretty simple, right? Like the first demand that we are demanding is fire all racist cops, right?
All of them.
Say it again, Sloan.
All of them, they gotta go. If they racist, they ain't welcome, they gotta go. You can't be racist and a cop, it's bad.
They can't work in Oakland and then go work in Berkeley or go work in Vegas somewhere?
All of them. You can't transfer, it's bad. If you are racist and a cop, you cannot be a police officer anymore.
Fire all racist cops. Wait a minute, what you and Sloan talking about? How they gonna do that? Simple. The same equipment that they use to surveillance us in our neighborhoods, the same equipment that they use to surveillance all these big drug kingpins and all that, use that against your co-workers, man. Surveillance them and dig into their business like you dig into the rest of the people in the community business and weave out the bad ones, man. Fire all racist cops. We don't want no racist cops in our communities harassing our kids. The second demand, defund and replace.
Cut that budget in half.
Defund and replace. Do what with the budget, Sloan?
Cut it in half. Cut it in a third. Less.
Cut it in a third. We want to take that budget and give it back to the things that we know that count. The things that we know that are thriving in our communities that are probably no longer in our communities due to funding. Takes that funding because we don't need more police. We need more funding so our people could get their life together and be on the right track and take care of our families. The last one, reconstruct remaining systems, right? And what that means to me when I want to try to break down the blah, blah, blah is rebuilding the remaining systems, right? We don't want the alternator, right? That we keep having to charge up and take to AutoZone and our car keep getting stuck. Fuck that. We want a whole new alternator, but with a whole new engine, everything underneath the engine brand new. We tired of trying to fix a alternator and replace it with a battery that we know that ain't gonna work. We tired of that. That's not working for us. It's not working for our people. Like an old school box Chevy or old school Colors or something. Look, we want to take that thing in the garage and gut it from top to bottom. So that's what we mean by that. If you want to learn a little bit more and dig more deeper into these 3 demands, you could text HEAT to 40649. And I'm rambling, but I'm being real at what I'm saying, but it'll break down it a little bit more. At this time, man, I want to introduce this video before I introduce our loved ones that will be coming on. This brother right here is really my brother. I think only the Bay Area and St. Louis separate us. I'll let him say a little bit more about himself, but I would like to introduce this video from my brother T-Dub out of St. Louis.
Poverty creates crime. That's anywhere. You get rid of poverty, you get rid of crime. It's simple. It's that simple. People are poor here. This is one of the lowest minimum wages in the country. Constant police harassment. The drug epidemic. Like, it's a lot of different factors that you're dealing with here that white supremacy benefits from, that the capitalistic government benefits from, and we sitting here and we starving. So people look at us, they think, oh, they just savages or they animals or they don't want to do better. It's not that. We don't have an opportunity to do better. Yeah, I've been popping, doing what I gotta do. Yeah, please don't try to stop this, I'll embarrass you. Yeah, I remember times that I felt hopeless, but just knowing I'm the
T-Dub, are you there? T-Dub, where you at?
Yo.
I was saying more. I would like to welcome my brother T-Dub. T-Dub, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's poppin'?
Okay, what's happening, bro? How you doing?
I'm Gucci, as good as I can be. You know, St. Louis is hell, so we as long as we got air in our lungs, we straight.
That's what's up, man. You want to tell the people a little bit about yourself? I want you do so much. Look, it's hard trying to pinpoint one thing you do. So I felt that it'd probably be best that you introduce your own self.
For sure. Well, my name is T-Dub-O, from St. Louis, Missouri, North Side area to be completely exact. Born and raised here, artist, father. I don't like the word activist, so I like to say I'm a revolutionary in training, so to speak. I helped create and found an organization by the name of Hands Up United. We rose it out the ashes of Ferguson. The reason we wanted to form an organization is because we was watching all these national organizations come into our city and basically control the narrative, actually giving local people talking points to say about their pain and express what they've been dealing with their entire lives. And I also saw them sucking up millions of dollars. There was no benefit to our community, and also using the boy Mike Brown name, to propel their agenda. So we formed an organization with the FUBU model, for us, by us. We know what the city needs. We know what we're going through. We know this terrain like the back of our hand. And we wanted to provide a programmatic response instead of responding when somebody already dead. We wanted to prevent that.
Cool, T-Dub-O. Look, I'm overly excited about tonight's call as we get into our agenda. One more person. Look, last but not least, I would like to introduce the wonderful, the one and only Brittany White out of Texas, my sister. I love her dearly. Brittany, if you want to come on and introduce yourself, you do a lot, so it's hard to introduce you. So I figured it'd be better for you to introduce yourself so I don't miss anything.
What up? This is a good panel to be on. I'm on here with some real ones, so I appreciate that. My name is Brittany White. I just go by Britt White. I am based out of Dallas, Texas, but I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio. I am a national manager, decarceration manager with our Live Free team. So shout out to my Live Free family and my Faith in Action family. And I'm a formerly incarcerated Black woman. I was sentenced to 20 years for trafficking marijuana back in 2009. And when I came home, a lot of the conversations that I was catching wind around centering incarceration and policing were all based on men's experience. And it just felt like it erased me and so many people who I loved and cared about, who I left, back in prison. So I just entered into the conversation leaning with my experience. And like T-Dub-O said, just really seeing so many people profit off of our pain without authentically telling our story. And so just being able to be a part of this conversation, get an orientation of organizing and being able to bring those skill sets back to people and explain organizing in a culturally relevant way has just been super invaluable.
Yes, I'm overly excited to have both of you guys a part of this conversation. So.
Welcome on, family. Welcome on, family. Look, my internet's looking funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I hope I don't have to leave this conversation because my stuff is acting smirkish, but it's looking a little smirky over here. But I want to go ahead and introduce the first video and kind of how we do this conversation to you all. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to break down some of the blah, blah, blah that we've heard folks say in our way. This first video is gonna give us our first question for tonight from Pastor Mike McBride and Reverend Ben McBride. But go ahead, Robbie, go ahead and drop that video.
E stands for equipment. In a democracy, and particularly a participatory democracy, the people should say what kind of tools and tactics make us feel safe, not the state. And so we want to ensure that we are taking away the tools and tactics that this current system has while we redefine a new public safety system with the kinds of tools and tactics that make us feel safe.
Militarization of police officers, not just at protests, but in communities. If it's indeed the case that only 5% of all arrests are for violent crimes, why does every single police officer need to have a gun to show up to do their work? I mean, that presence of the gun creates the possibility of an escalation that otherwise would be absent if you just showed up with other tools in your tool belt. And so I just want us to keep driving this point home. What do we need to do to eradicate the 1033 programs that provide military grade gear to police departments?
That was a clip from our Bring the Heat conversation. And before we get to the first question, I just wanted to say that was the Bring the Heat conversation that we took that clip from. And JB, go ahead and drop us with our first question for our guest. What's the first question we got?
So like Sloan said a little earlier, our whole purpose of this, right, that we know a lot of the lingo that has a lot to do with our community that I know both of y'all could speak upon, be a lot of over our head, right? So the first question that I really wanted to ask y'all is, what the hell is the 1033 program? Like, what is it? Like, if I go right now to the closest liquor store, when I catch the brother at the store coming out the store, probably with his swisher and his bag of chips, and I'd be like, hey, bro, you know what the 1033 bill is? Bro gonna look at me like I'm gang banging on him or something. You feel me, Dub? So my first question, I'm just being honest. My first question is, what the hell is the 1033 program, and what can we do to eradicate it? And T-Dub, you came off the mic, so I'll let you start, bro.
For sure. So I actually started to look into what the 1033 program was when it was right before we went to meet with Obama. And I found out that St. Louis County had a grenade launcher. Like I was looking at all the shit that they was hitting us with in Ferguson, the tear gas, the mustard gas, these different chemical munitions, so on and so forth. And I'm like, why the hell do they got this, and where it's coming from, and how much money are they spending on it?
Bro,
you know, when I'm looking at
bro, they're throwing all that at y'all.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the fact that St. Louis County don't even have a homeless shelter for families. So I'm looking at all this money that I'm seeing, because when I know weapons. So when I see weapons, I see money. You feel me? So when I found out that these folks got grenade launchers, I started looking into it, and I found out that the 1033 program is actually what funds and provides the equipment for these small municipalities and these police departments to even have this equipment. So when we went and met with Obama, that was my original ask, to have him eradicate the 1033. And of course, you know, he flipped it with a politician answer saying majority of it goes to office equipment. But we know it was nonsense. So I guarantee you, Oakland PD, San Francisco PD, I guarantee you they all got grenade launchers. When I got locked up in Orlando, we was protesting at the chief of police conference. They got a grenade launcher. I saw it with my own eyes. You feel me? So
a grenade launcher for the people out there peacefully protesting, bro?
Yeah, they got a grenade launcher, bro.
Okay.
So that's what the 1033 is. It provides all that, the MRAP machines, the tanks, the chemical munitions, everything that would be used in a war. You feel me? Besides the chemical munitions that they use on us here, because the United Nations banned them. You can't even use tear gas in war. And they use it on us right here in the middle of the street. You feel me? So that's what the 1033 provides.
Wow, for people peacefully protesting, they getting hit with ammunition that's used in the war. Brittany,
hundreds of millions of dollars, bro.
Wasting a bunch of millions of dollars on the material, even to have it inside their police department. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like bruh summed it up. I don't really need to add anything to it. What I will tell you is what came up for me when I heard T-Double talking about it. Here in 2016, a lot of people know that there were a series of protests going on across this country when Philando Castile and Alton Sterling were killed by the police. And in Dallas, at our protest, 5 officers were killed by Black men. And what I remember is our chief of police at that time made a very controversial decision to send a robot into the parking deck where the man was located and blew him up. And just that type of, first of all, why do we even have that type of ammunition or weaponry on deck? You know, my mom used to tell me, if when we ask to go to McDonald's, you don't have no McDonald's money. And as long as we have people who are still hungry and don't have their basic needs met, they don't have housing and food, then we don't have the type of money to go purchase robots to blow up our community members. You don't got no robot blow up money.
Right. Even I love both of y'all, because y'all had me thinking, right? Like even the equipment that is being used to somebody, and we all got this person in our community, right? What about the local dude who always in front of our liquor store, right? We all know the man got mental health issues. Why are you coming with guns and weapons that's gonna kill him when he got mental health problems, right? Like, why do you need to come to my house? Look, I'm almost 40, man. I got 4-5 baby mamas. Look, Lord, forgive me, pray for me, don't judge me, right? But why are you coming to my house when me and my partner might be having a disagreement and I end up losing my life over a disagreement? So when we think about the equipment that they're using, we don't want that shit in our community. Don't bring that shit in our community. Let's try to find something else that works for our community that ain't killing the people in our community.
Because to your point, I don't have the privilege of being a parent, but I do got 8 nieces and nephews. Right. And so we desensitize our children when we normalize that type of weaponry in their senses. We teach them what we value as a community. We don't value giving you equitable education. We don't value giving you reliable transportation. We value, criminalizing our people. And then if they're not compliant, we kill them. And that's a failure upon us as a society. For people who we have not figured out how to meet their needs, we imprison them, we hide them, and we kill them.
And that start as early as grade school. You know what I'm saying? Not even them. The first time I saw a police officer with a weapon, I was in kindergarten. First day of school, walking through metal detectors, and it's a security guard there strapped. You feel me? So our children are criminalized from the moment that they walk into their schools, as early as kindergarten. They walking through a metal detector. Like, going into an elementary school in the city of St. Louis is worse than going through TSA. You feel me? So, and I have yet to hear of one black school shooting.
Say that again, Doug.
I have yet to hear in the news of one black school shooting. So why are our kids criminalized and brought through metal detectors and searched and around armored guards when they're going into school? And we're not the ones shooting up schools, but you don't see them in the white neighborhoods. But that's done intentionally, because we're already telling these kids from start to finish that you're a monster. Get used to this.
Right.
And to your point, Deb, I know we got another video, so I'm gonna just try to make this quick. But I know everybody on this call know people in our communities, right, that have the ability to replace them officers that are in them schools and could be more of a resource and an ally and a role model to them kids than them kids running around in fear. It's a video that been going famous on Facebook. The little boy playing in his front yard. He just minding his business playing basketball. The police driving by, he hide behind the door. Like, who want their kids to be in the front yard hiding away from the police that's driving by? Like, that's traumatizing our community. So as we get into this video and we think of ways to try to break this next video down that is a little deep, I just wanted to raise awareness on that, man. We don't need more police. We need more resources, man, and more stuff that's gonna help us instead of break us down.
California time, dozens of armed deputies, including a tactical team, descended on the house on Magnolia Street, broke down the door with a battering ram, sent a robot into the house, allegedly to search for possible threats. The deputies then arrested 2 mothers who were living in the house, as well as 2 of their supporters. All 4 were released on bail Tuesday afternoon.
Carol Fife, can you talk about how you understand the extraordinarily militarized response? I mean, tanks and guns and tactical gear?
I can't understand it. I don't understand it. There was some indicator that the sheriffs would use some type of force. It was alluded to in several press statements that were made by the Alameda County sheriffs, which is what prompted the moms to continuously repeat, as well as their attorneys, that this is nonviolent civil disobedience. But the sheriff said early on that the mothers would determine the level of force that they used. And so we're thinking there's no reason to use any level of force for a nonviolent civil disobedience action. Yet they came in a way that I've never seen in real life, let alone in a residential small community for unarmed civilians. This is the most obscene use of taxpayer dollars that I've seen in a long time.
One of the most obscene uses of taxpayer dollars that we've seen in a long time. And if y'all don't know that story about the Mothers for Housing, it was two houseless mothers that took residents in a home that didn't have anybody living in it, and that's the force how they removed those mothers from the house with their children there. How did that hit y'all? How did that video sit with y'all? Let's just first start with a reaction. What did y'all see? How did that feel?
I'll start. I never like to see women mistreated, particularly Black women. I think that reinforces a toxic mentality that Black women are seen as less than human. And I don't want to just make it about race and about gender, but I do want to make it about dignity and humanity, right? So a lot of what we do within the Live Free Network is faith-based organizing. And as a child of God, there's a certain level of respect and dignity that should be extended to all human beings. And it's just so odd to me how that gets sacrificed in the moment. These situations are not dangerous. And how we prioritize the judgment of the police over the well-being of people, particularly Black women, is just unconscionable to me.
I get livid watching or even hearing about situations of this caliber. And first and foremost, I want to say rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. And nothing matters until she gets justice. But I get extremely livid about these situations because anybody that know me knows that I'm extremely, extremely, and probably overly protective of Black women. That was one of the things in regards to Ferguson that I made sure that I focused on, was always like putting myself as a shield. And sometimes I don't know, I could have been, being sexist in regards to my movements, but that's one thing that I can't see myself ever stop doing, is protecting Black women. And I get livid in regards to those situations because it shows a complete disregard for the humanity of Black women, the absolute disregard of humanity for Black women. The system doesn't even view them as humans. You feel me? And it's so frustrating because the feminist movement uses the power of our Black women to push their agendas and get right or establish power for women. But you don't see no situations like this occurring with no white women. And honestly, I don't see many white women going to bat when situations come to the light in regards to our Black women like this. So that video just pissed me off to the point to where I'm gonna have to smoke me a cigar and calm down, because it's opening so many unhealed wounds. It basically just took the band-aids off of these bullet wounds. And that couldn't have been my community because I would probably be in jail, first and foremost. And I feel like any man that was out there was supposed to come to bat for them, stand up for them. I don't care if they had a robot, I don't care what they got. We have to stop accepting these situations. And it's going to be a certain point in time where we have to start to stand in front of these bullets. And it may take some of that to stop some of this. The reason that they keep doing this is because they know they can do it and get away with it. They stopped playing with Italians like this. They stopped playing with Chinese folks like this. We allow them to get away with this. And I'm not going to say too much on here because I know this is a faith-based network and the feds are also watching this. But it's only so long that you can let yourself get punched in the face.
Hey, don't miss that tweetable moment. He said it takes the band-aids off the bullet wounds. We just need to sit in that for a second.
Thanks, both of y'all. I mean, that like T-Dub said, that's a lot of us in these communities, man. Look, that's our reality, right? Like we used to see in the big old blue bus and the technical gear and the battering ram and the after effect after arrested killers for Breonna Taylor, like my brother said, right? Because they do these no-knock warrants, they busting down our doors. Look, it's the wrong address. People losing their lives, man, and it's time. Look, we ain't got all the answers, but I don't care what nobody say, man. We got to do something about it, and I believe the time is now, man. Like enough is enough. We don't got all the answers. That's why we pulling in people from all parts of all over the country, all over every city, just trying to pull brains together and figure this thing out to the best of our ability. But if somebody got something else better, like let's rock with it. But right now, we want to fire our racist cop and stick to them demands that we got. Go ahead, Britt, because I'm like Dub. I'm getting a little irritated right now. Like enough is enough. We've been fighting for 400 years.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's coming up for me, like listening to both of y'all talk, is it's a culture. It's not just the actions or the isolated incidents that happen. It's a culture that continues to permit these type of events to take place. And what my experience has been reinforced in that culture is how I was treated as a female inmate in the state of Alabama. I was counted naked in the shower by male police officers. I was forced to cut my hair just to try to dehumanize me and take away my femininity. The fact that they could come in at any moment and shake down my property just because of allegations of me having contraband. How you're not permitted to grieve or anything that's connected to human emotion within an institution could actually lead to disciplinary action. So it's not just them coming and being violent toward us, but it's the actions that police our emotions and our bodies in a way that is so toxic and unhelpful. And it goes to the fact that we're not seen as human. We're not allowed to have our imagination, our creativity, our emotions. Everything that is God and spirit driven within us is policed and over-criminalized.
Preach, Britt, preach.
Say that. I didn't even have to ask my next question, because my next question to you was going to be like, what does that impact? What does that feel like? What does that do to us as a people if being policed like that, being over militarized and being policed in a way that dehumanizes? What impact? What does that mean for our kids? How does that impact us?
Brittany probably could double back down, but Dub, for you, if you could try to dive into that question as much as possible, only because I know for a fact you was out there from beginning to the end in the Ferguson uprising. You the one who specifically helped me go see where the brother Mike Brown body was at and the puddle of blood that they had to remove the concrete because it was so much blood and repave extra concrete to cover up the blood. So could you talk a little bit about that, bro, from your experience?
For sure. I'm gonna speak from a lot of different standpoints. For me, it turned me into a walking time bomb, and I had to realize and learn the trauma that I was carrying because I didn't feel it anymore. It had become numb, and I didn't know at any given moment I was on the edge of just snapping. And it took a moment in Ferguson for me to really figure this out. And I almost really seriously put myself in harm's way, not just me, but my brother Tef Poe as well, and everybody out there. But for so many other people, I've seen them turn to drugs in regards to this trauma and this pain. I've seen them become severely depressed and not know it and have suicidal tendencies. I know just as a teenager, it added an extra 30, 45 minutes to wherever we was driving to, because we not driving down certain streets. We not coming through certain neighborhoods because we know we gonna get pulled over for no reason, just being black in the car.
Right.
We know we going to jail the minute they pull us over just because we black in the car. We know they probably gonna plant some dope on us. We know they're gonna probably throw a gun on us, or in worst case scenarios, they're gonna beat the shit out of us and drop us off in a rival neighborhood. You feel me? So it altered my entire being as a black person, where I drive, how I interact with people, harboring that type of pain and that emotional stress. It's dangerous in so many levels, not just physically, but also mentally. I think mentally it may be more dangerous than physically, because the worst they can do to us is die and kill us. And life is hard, death is easy. But carrying that mental strain, that pressure, that pain your entire life, every time you see a police officer, I see a police officer now, I used to get nervous, now I just get angry the minute I see one. If they can be black, white, Chinese, it don't matter. I see a police officer, I get angry. I see blue lights, I get angry instantly. At first, I used to be nervous. If a police was behind me, I'm instantly nervous. I'm trying to get away. I hadn't done anything wrong. And God forbid one pull you over and you see him on a walkie-talkie, or he back in his car too long after you got your license. Backup coming. At that point, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this alive. You feel me? Or they finna plant some on me. What they about to do to me? The first thing pop in your mind is what are they about to do to me? And for a public servant who is supposed to be a servant of yours, a public servant, we shouldn't have that type of thought the minute we come in contact with them, but we do.
Right.
Can I just hone in a little bit more on that fear and intimidation that T-Double talked about? Because I think it's important for people who may not have had the type of lived experience growing up to understand that fear is a luxury that so many people from inner city communities do not get to have. So when the police pull you over and they draw down on you, you have to be in control of your physical body to make sure you don't do anything that could be interpreted as intimidation. You don't get to have a knee-jerk fear reaction, because that could be your life. It's so many people who have had these types of experiences, and it's their word versus the police who has this equipment, who has this weaponry. So I really want people to hone in and understand that fear is something that a lot of young Black people in this country are expected. We are expected as untrained members of society to be in better control of our fear in our body than trained police officers who we pay with our own tax dollars, and that's unacceptable.
On top of them approaching us, what the fuck are you doing? Put your fucking hands on the car. Get the fuck in the position. Stop fucking resisting. Like what all the stuff Brittany just said. On top of all these not true, scared excuses that y'all make to try to do harm to us when we ain't even resisting nor causing no harm to your scary ass. Go ahead, Doug.
And then when you do resist, I'm so sorry, T-Bo, but when you do resist, they gonna tell a story about that one time you were in juvie and you got locked up, and then they begin to just throw dirt on your name and your reputation to build up justification in the media on why they took your life. Exactly.
And all this feels, dog, like, let's talk numbers. You feel me? That's what white people saying that understand the most. Let's talk numbers. In regards to equipment, you got these police officers carrying all this $1 million worth of equipment that they not using. The first thing they do is just kill us. So if we talking money that's gonna benefit the entire community, including white folks, why don't we defund them? Because they spending millions of dollars on equipment that they not even using on us in the first place. It's just sitting there. They use it on y'all when they come in contact with y'all. If they don't just let you go, if they don't let you beat their ass, because I done seen plenty white boys pop off on police and nothing happens. So why don't you take that money away from them? That clearly they don't need the equipment. They're not using on us. They just use the bullet. So that's $100 million save that not only can go to your children's schools, it can go to our children's schools. It can go to your children's free rehab programs, because they using dope just like Black people are using dope, if not more.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
If not more. And let's do something to start changing these conditions that's perpetuating this attitude to make it okay for y'all to feel like it's okay to overpopulate our communities with these fucking pigs. So let's talk numbers in that regard.
Dub, I don't want them to miss that nug you just dropped. Look, they ain't using all the equipment. What equipment they using?
They using bullets and guns. That's it.
That's
on
it.
us.
Right.
You feel me? They
That's
ain't
it.
using the pepper spray. They ain't using the tasers. We don't shoot at them, so they ain't using the bulletproof vest. Y'all shoot at them. We don't shoot at them. They ain't using the bulletproof vest. They don't need the riot equipment. They don't need the mustard gas. They don't need the tear gas. They don't need the tanks. In regard, that's hundreds of $1 million that can go back into the public school system, the health system, the public health system, the making sure you ain't got no potholes on your nice suburban street with your green grass, so on and so forth. So let's talk numbers. It's $150, $200 million being wasted on utensils that they not even using because they just go straight to the bullet and kill us.
Being wasted. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars being wasted on a continual basis. And y'all got equipment that you ain't even using. That was another, y'all are so perfect. Shout out to Brittany and T-Double right now because they keep giving me perfect bridges into these videos. They don't even know they're doing this. But we have a video right now where Dr. Eberhardt talked about some equipment that police don't use, and it's just the race they don't use. We're gonna play this video and then we're gonna talk a little bit about how that affects how they show up to us.
We all know across the country, lots and lots of police departments now have body-worn cameras. And for most of the police departments, when they introduce those cameras, it's associated with a drop in use of force, and it's associated with a drop in citizen complaints. But even with this, we haven't begun to leverage those cameras nearly enough. And that's because most of the footage, the vast majority of the footage from these cameras is never examined. And I don't think people understand that. The 99% of the footage collected by these cameras are not examined. The footage just sits on the cloud somewhere. And if there is an officer involved shooting, or if there's a citizen complaint, they might go in and fish out the footage related to that specific incident. But the departments are not, thinking about this footage as data. And because individual officers know that the footage isn't really being examined for most of the time, they would feel more accountable if they knew that it were being examined, and it's not typically being reviewed. So I think that's
you tell me all of this energy we've been dispensing about body-worn cameras and them being used as a way to hold officers accountable and improve their search. These last few years, hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent, and nobody is looking at the camera footage to improve.
Nobody is looking at the camera footage. All right, so real quick, I know that I just dropped that last video on y'all, but I just wanted to get some quick last words from y'all. How do y'all feel that what do you feel like the misuse or the use of equipment, how does that affect us and how police and how police show up in our space? Like, how does that affect how police show up? You think they would show up differently if those cameras are on, or you think they showing up the same way?
I think it's going to depend on the police, in all honesty. So the reason I say that, I had a long conversation with a cop. So Jabbar had been to St. Louis, so he's familiar with how close Illinois is to St. Louis. So we got our east side of St. Louis is actually in Illinois, and he learned that because we had a little kick it experience at one of the venues that way. So I'm familiar with a lot of the people politically in the entertainment district, pretty much everybody from this side to that side. And one day at the studio that I use on that side, my homie who owns it, he's real cool with the police officers in the area. And he's cool to the point to where he uses them for what he can use them for. And other than that, it's fuck him. But I had a conversation with one of the cops over there. And it's crazy because he's trying to get rich, but it's a hell of an idea. He created a camera that's 360 degrees that goes on top of the police car, also hooks to the body cam footage, but it live streams 24/7. It live streams 24/7. And he created a platform that the police officers would have to put access to those cameras on their website. Every police officer that was patrolling. And he took it to about 6 different police departments. and even he had government funding, and they all denied to give it a shot. So the reason I say which police officer, it depends on which police officer show up, because his department has agreed to do it. They just don't have the money to do it because East St. Louis, Illinois won't put it up. But he took it to, I think he took it to one of the boroughs in New York, somewhere down south, Memphis, Alabama, Atlanta, and somewhere else out west, I think Texas. But they all denied it. So the reason that these cops show up how they show up still, even with the body cameras, is one, they know even with the footage, if it's a black person, they walking away scot-free. So that's on the prosecutors. Two, they know that footage is not being watched. So police are dumb, but they're not as dumb as we think they are. They know that they hadn't hired someone to constantly review this footage. It should be somebody there 24/7 taking shifts, reviewing that footage as these cops load it up.
Facts.
But and they got the money to do so, because most of these cops are making another half of their salary doing overtime or secondary shifts. So they got the money to do it. A lot of it, hell, it was a scandal here in the city of St. Louis, cops, 20 plus cops still in overtime. So you don't tell me you don't got the money to hire somebody to review this footage. They just don't want to, because they know it's going to bring to light so many different constitutional violations that happen every day, and it's going to bring those complaints to light. It's the same thing as having a civil review board without subpoena power, in my eyes, of having these cameras and not having somebody constantly review it.
Yes. Britt, you go ahead, Britt.
Yeah, for me, I think what I would want to just leave people with is this a lack of imagination. And that's one thing that this network, this Live Free network, has really taught me, is like, what is the vision of the world that we trying to build? We talk so much about what we don't want and what shouldn't be, but what we haven't figured out a way to do is how to help the people who need it the most. And it really pisses me off to see that we always have money to hire police. We have money to surveillance people, but we don't have money to feed people and protect children. And these unprotected children grow up in tension and complicated relationships with the police. It's people I grew up with in Dayton who have been harassed generationally by cops. They know this police officer. Everybody in the neighborhood know that when this particular police officer comes through, he's with the shit.
Fire all racist cops.
Fire all racist cops. And why can't it be that we have program officers who come into the community and identify who needs these resources the most, and that we can point our folks in the community, go holler at old lady and she'll get you right. She knows where the affordable housing is. She knows where jobs are that pay a livable wage. It's just a lack of imagination and investment in people who need it the most. And to be perfectly honest, I'm tired of educating people about my lived experience and it falling on deaf ears. I'm not having no more conversations just for the sake of having conversations so people can come and thank me for being bold and be transparent. Thank me with your vote. Thank me with your accountability. Thank me with your body. Don't be sliding up in my DMs and emailing me talking about I'm a well-spoken Black woman. Both my parents are educated. I know that I speak well. I've been groomed. I'm walking in the fullness of my purpose. Show up.
Facts.
Hey, JB.
Yes,
Can we change one of them to fire all oppressive cops? Because it's a lot of Black ones that treat us dirty as well.
Say that again, bro. Wait, say that again.
We need to fire all oppressive cops because there's a lot of Black ones that treat us dirty as well. You feel me?
Hey, I'm not against that. What'd you say, Britt?
Or we could just abolish the police and admit that it's a toxic system that's not worth saving.
Right.
And that Black people have been keeping Black people safe and alive. People from underserved communities have been keeping people safe and alive. Right. Real quick, down here in the South, they have a candy lady. This is the lady in the neighborhood. Everybody knows you can go buy whatever junk food or whatever you need from your community. The candy lady never has problems.
Talk to me.
Rowdy kids, the drug dealers, the most oppressive people, because it's a culture of respect and dignity and understanding. The police are not in relationship with the stakeholders of that community. So they come in and they're fearful and intimidated. They project that fear onto other people, and that's how conflict arises. Let us take care of our own community.
Exactly. We just need to get old Black people and white folks to understand that cops aren't Spider-Man. They don't get a tingle when something about to go down. They don't do nothing but respond to it. Your car's already stolen. Somebody already been beat up. Somebody's already shot. We need to step in and prevent these instances and actually come together as community. We don't need them to come and tell us what happened because we know what happened.
T-Dub, don't know Batman sign go up in the air when something go on? I think you muted, bro. You muted.
Oh, he had bars too. He was going.
They don't get a tingle. It ain't no crystal ball that pop up that let them know, you know what I'm saying, Lil C finna go and rob Big B. None of that happens. They show up an hour later after somebody's dead, after your car is already stolen. My mama car got stolen one time. I was in the 6th grade. The police came, did nothing. Said they probably weren't gonna find it, walked out the door. Me and my big cousins found the car in 20 minutes.
That part. So what do we need? To T-Dub's point, we almost running out of time. I know Sloan got some next steps, but to T-Dub's point, we can, and Brittany's point, we can police ourselves. Like each one teach one. We've been looking out for each other. We just need the space in the room to be able to do that. Sloan, you got something for them? I know we almost at time, but I know you had a few things.
I just got action steps. It's time to take action. So now we don't want to bring people to a call without making sure we don't give you action steps. So our action steps for folks right now, for folks that are watching this live or folks that are watching this replay of this video, if you can text HEAT right now to 40649 and be a part of this conversation and learn more about this Bring the Heat movement, because we're looking to abolish the police. We're looking to change how policing is happening in our communities because it's been too long for this stuff to be going on to our folks. So once again, if you are in the Zoom room right now or on Facebook Live, text HEAT to 40649 to learn more about the Bring the Heat movement. And the last thing I wanted to close out with you all with is with music. Like I said in the beginning, that we wanted to use guest speakers, music, and videos to give you guys the information. We got one more video. JB, can you actually say who this video comes from?
Yes. First, before I do that, I want to just thank Brittany and T-Dubbo one more time. Great conversation. Y'all brought to the conversation exactly what I knew y'all could bring. Y'all are my brothers and my sisters. I love y'all. We love y'all. This next video is from one of our brothers from our Live Free movement. Our brother Prince Rock out of Chicago. Tune into him. The brother's dope. He up and coming, man. This is my guy, my brother, Prince Rock out of Chicago, y'all. Listen to him a little bit. Hear him out.
Yeah. Entertainment, that's 100 points.
More like, it's like the whole world against us, you know? Black and brown. Gotta recognize. Blunt after blunt for every homie 6 feet under. Riding through the city with a banger and a thumper. Used to be a ball when I was focused on my jumper. Kept on balling, but these streets forced me to become a monster. Niggas banging outside right, that's just the way it is. Mama's caught in crossfire, they spin a block, spraying kids, so I don't got none of them another tear. Nope. Double couple Hennessy, trying to make sense what used to be. They screaming Black Lives Matter, like Black Lives Matter. Man, change some laws around this bitch, them hashtags don't flatter. If I'm pulled over by 12, why that's a Black Lives platter? Congress rather take a knee and leave our Black Lives shatter. Pop a perky, never worry, nigga, let me cope. If I ever run into Carlton Tuck, I'll punch him in the throat. Some white people just don't get it, but not all be racist. But to say all lives matter, you miss the entire basis. High fashion death over designer, thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan, oh, you Mr. Jordan. That 100 million that you gave, it really was important. It was. Look, it ain't never late to get your 7 ring. We all late bloomers when it comes down to different things. At the end of the day, we all on the same team. Let's re-teach the shorties trying to shoot no Kobe Bean. But they got a beam. Never had a dream. Little nigga ate his guns and butter. Find a proper way to scheme to keep your pockets green. And none of these hoes ain't worth it. Better find yourself a queen. Look, hey, Corona flow. Only trust myself to never ever fold. Got it out the mud and never really had to touch the dope. Was locked up, but I ain't never had the 6ix9ine. Seen signs. Fast forward, never rewind. Define what I call that pussy when I'm in it. This world survival of the fittest, and I'm on the road playing chicken. I swear this never be the same. So I'm always one to blame. So I just drunk a fifth of Douce to deal with this endless pain. More like, yeah, you know. Black lives matter, all that good stuff. It's time for unity. You know, it's like the world turned against us. In a second, realize that you got a brother, even if he don't even look like it.